it just pours directly on here. Shut up. What's up, everyone? So today we are replacing the radiator. It's not really something I want to do, it's something that I have to do. I just did my mother-in-law's radiator on her 4.7, so I should have recorded that because there are quite a lot of differences between the two. Hopefully this helps you guys out with the 4.0. I will try and show you guys as much as possible how to do it. So this first part's going to be a little bit different for me because I do have this light bar. So I've got some zip ties and I've got my power wire going through the grill. I've got some reliefs cut in it for these brackets that I made for the light bar. So it's gonna be a little bit different with your grill. You are gonna have some plastic retainers, which I'll show you when I get these ones off here. I've cut some of mine out, so I don't have some of mine at the bottom, but I will let you guys see where they should be. This is as far as I'm going to be able to pull my grill out, just because I have a power wire going through it. But you can see right here. You can see right here there is a relief cut, but there should be, this one's broken, but there should be tabs like this that are actually going down into plastic behind here. Those just kind of slot down in there, and on the top you've got and on the top you've got these plastic retainers. There's one there, one in the center here, and then one on the other side. Those just need to be pried up on, and they'll come away from the plastic retainer right there. One of the next things that you need to do, shine a light in there. You can see mine zip tied in because I didn't have the hardware. But there should be some hardware right here, and same right here. I think it's a 10 millimeter. Just get those out because you need to detach this AC condenser from the radiator, because there's a bracket right there which actually attaches to the radiator. So another bolt that you guys will have to remove is that one back there. I can't really point at it, but it's that one. There's one on each side of the radiator. Those are a 10 millimeter bolt. That is what is attaching the radiator to the body of the vehicle. We will detach those, but we'll come back to them. Next thing we need to do is remove this fan shroud from the radiator. You're also going to have your electric fan that's connected to it, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. I'm going to show you where the hardware is. There's 4. Mine aren't all here. So on this side I've got mine zip tied, and on that lower one I don't think it's even there, because I don't think I put it back in, and I'll show you why. It sucks to get to. Your first bolt's going to be right here. Your other bolt on this side, you guys can even see down there, so you can see the tab. Let's see if I can kind of point at it here. You can see this plastic tab right there. So not this bolt. This bolt is the electric fan that's connected to the shroud. So this plastic tab that's going here behind your steering gear, that is where that bolt is, and it is terrible. You may have to leave your shroud connected to actually lift your radiator out to get that one, which is what I think I did the first time I did this. And on your other side, so this is the passenger side if you're a left-hand drive vehicle. On the passenger side, there's that bolt right here, and then the other one is right down there next to, I don't know if you want to call that the frame rail, but it's right there. Now take your overflow tube. This is the tube that goes from your filler neck over to your overflow. Just slide that off, put it over here out of the way. Now that you've got this whole assembly out, you can see I gave myself enough slack that if I had to do this again, I wouldn't have to deal with wiring. Some of these come with a connector, mine didn't, so mine's all hardwired. I could have wired in a weatherproof electrical connector, but I didn't. I just hardwired it, and I gave myself enough slack that I can just pull this up and out of the way. If you are replacing your radiator fan, you've got 3 of these 10mm bolts. That's all it's holding this whole thing on. So just rip those out, replace your radiator fan. Now we've got it to this point, we've got the shroud all out of the way. We need to drain the radiator. Most of my fluid is gone because that's why we're replacing it. I have a crack in my end tank. It's probably what you have too. These plastic end tanks kind of suck. So we'll go down underneath, we'll drain what fluid is still in it. Make sure you remove your cap. Shouldn't be a problem, but it might cause some issues with draining it. If you have a lot of coolant in it, it'll just make it harder. I mean, it'll still drain, but it'll make it harder to drain because it'll be causing a vacuum. So remove that. One of the things that you guys might be able to do, so you've got your petcock, it's right there to drain it, but I don't like using that. It just pours directly on this cross member and it just goes everywhere. So I don't like using that. So what I'm going to do is remove this hose, because then I can try to aim it down that way at my basin. So I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna do it from down there. You guys might not see that from there, but I've got a hose clamp right there. So it's an 8mm. I'm gonna run it off with my gun because it's faster, and we'll put the bowl or container underneath it. So I still had about a gallon in there. I caught most of it. A little bit of a mess here. We'll get it cleaned up and keep going. So we've still got this upper hose that's attached. So we will grab a pair of pliers. This one still has the original spring clamp on it. So we'll grab a pair of pliers and we'll get that side attached. There's a few different companies that make tools for these. They're kind of like a, I don't know, they look, I mean, obviously they don't look anything like my hand, but they have kind of like 2 retainers up here, and they have a finger that moves up and down, and you can hook it on there, you pull on it, so you squeeze the tool, and it actually will pull on it and pull these clamps in. They're pretty cool. I should probably buy one. Now is when we need to pull this grill back out of the way, so we can get those 2 bolts that are holding the radiator to the body. The AC condenser does have these tabs. It's got some further down. They're not actually bolted in, they just kind of slot in to little catches that are on the radiator. So you gotta pull these out of those tabs. I'm going to remove my core support to give myself a little bit more room to move it back and forth. You've got a T30 Torx. There's one on the other side of the grill here as well. One for your headlights on both sides, and then just a couple of 10mm bolts. You've got a couple nuts, one on each side of your hood latch, and then all of this will come out. Remember to move all of your rubber isolators. So these ones are on the bottom. So you just slide them off the 2 pegs that are on the bottom. And then these are on both sides, just slide them out. And you just put them back on. So you will have this side down, and they're that shape, so you can't put them on wrong. Now that we've got everything in, it is time to start filling it back up. I've got some of this VP Racing Madditive. It is a coolant additive. So it is supposed to do 30-degree cooler temps. And then you're supposed to have cylinder head temps of 75 degrees or up to 75 degrees less. There's been some third-party studies done on these, and they do seem to work. I put it in absolutely everything, so I'm gonna put it in the Jeep. Along with the additive, we do have a gallon of distilled water and a gallon of the concentrate, of Prestone concentrate coolant. I'm gonna put half of this bottle into another bottle, put half of this gallon into that so that I can get it pre-mixed. So you can buy them 50-50 mix, but when you need 2 gallons, it makes more sense to buy a concentrate and get some distilled water with it. You can use tap water, but there is a lot of stuff in tap water that you don't really want in your cooling system. You guys can do whatever you want, but you should use distilled water. There's mixing instructions on the back of this bottle. I'm gonna use about half of this bottle for this system. Well guys, that's it. The radiator is replaced and it is all now full of fluid. Be careful with going anywhere near that fan when you're reaching in the engine bay and you're squeezing the hoses. Make sure your hands aren't anywhere near that fan, because when it gets hot, that fan is gonna turn on and bad things will happen to your fingers. I like to bleed the system or burp the system, whatever you want to call it, with the funnel in. I don't want to have the cap on because I don't want any pressure to build up in there. If you guys do this with the cap on and get it really hot, do not remove that cap until the vehicle is cooled back down. When it gets hot, it gets a lot of pressure in there. If you pop open that cap, it is going to explode and shoot hot coolant all over your face, arms, etc. It's not going to be great, so don't do that. While you have the vehicle running, make sure that you go inside, turn that heater up onto the window, turn it up full blast, because you want to make sure that you're getting all new fluid all the way through the heater core as well. That way you know that you actually have a full system, you actually get all the bubbles out of there. Just have some patience, keep squeezing those upper and lower hoses. You'll feel when the heater gets hot inside, you'll know that you've got fluid up into that heater core. Make sure that your reservoir is full so that when you need to, or when the system needs to pull more fluid in, there is actually some fluid there for it to pull into the system. You probably will have to top it up after you drive it once or twice, get a heat cycle in there. It will burp out some more air if you haven't gotten all of it out. So just keep an eye on that level and top it up as you need to. Hopefully this was helpful for some of you guys. Hopefully you hit that like and subscribe button. Now that I'm done with maintenance repairs I needed to do, I can get back on to actually modifying. So we will see you guys with some modifications very soon.